I want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
some corruption. Corruption
Uh-oh.
from the Democratic Party. So this is a former New York top political official and power broker. He is in his 70s. He's former Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver. He has
Hmm.
been sentenced to 12 years in prison, and he's been charged and convicted with using his office for $4 million in kickbacks from a cancer research and real estate developers. So this is another in the long litany of New York officials, both Democratic and Republican, who face not only charges but have been sentenced and will be serving time. Now, Silver is in his 70s, so he's going to spend this 12 years is a life sentence for him, right? He's going to spend the rest of his life in jail for corruption. One of the interesting things about this, what stood out was the judge in the sentencing said that she hopes that this conviction and this sentence would force New York politicians to appeal
Wow.
to their better angels. And if this doesn't cause them to appeal to their better angels, and Noah, she said, hopefully it could just strike some fear in them, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, strike some fear into them to not manipulate their office for criminal economic gain. There is so much corruption in New York. There are so many officials who are in prison right now because of their corruption. And what's going on in New York, and why don't they realize they're going to get caught because everyone else is getting caught? What do you think?
Well, I joke all the time about the Chicago machine and how corrupt Chicago is. Like six of the last like eight governors have gone to jail or something like that. Like Chicago must be like number two after New York. I mean, I don't know. I do not know. I guess they think I can't even think of a bad stereotype to make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's with all this money and influence that people wield money and the power that comes with being an elected official. While it's not directly related to campaign, but campaign finance reform, people, I mean, it affects it's everywhere. I mean, clearly people get money, they get favors, they think that they can do something, they think that they can put their finger in the scale, so to speak, in this
Yeah.
one way, and then you rub my back and I'll scratch your type of thing. I mean, but New York, when you look at the way New York is built, right? It's built on who you know,
Yep.
what relationships, who can do what for who. I mean, that's when we think about like the different movies we've seen, right? Uncle Joe knows somebody down at the whatever license agency because we gotta get this liquor license to open the
Mm-hmm.
spot. Like you think of stuff like that happening in New York, and it's so wild. So it's so crazy that you do have all these different officials who have been sentenced, gone to jail, like, I mean, this is like wild,
Wow.
and these are the people that we continue to elect to put in office. Because even when you look at like congressional folks, like Charlie Rangel has been investigated by the ethics committee for all different types of things, and he's retiring now,
Mm-hmm.
but he still walks around like his stuff don't stink. I remember when he had like Section 8 apartments some years ago,
Yep.
like multiple Section 8 apartments. How do you, as an individual, have multiple Section 8 apartments? Like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even possible
Let
in
me
real life for
let
real
me
people. Go
let me
ahead.
read this list. This is a list that was compiled by the AP, and I want to give them credit for it because it's a great list. And it's actually, I hate to say it, but it's funny. To me, it's funny at this point because after all of these people being arrested and serving time, you still think that you can get away with this. So let me read this. This State Senator Malcolm Smith is serving 7 years. Representative William Scarborough is serving 13 months. Senator Thomas LeBois is serving has 6 months of house arrest. Representative William Boylan Jr., 14 years. Eric Stevenson, 3 years. Shirley Huntley, 1 year. Pedro Espada, 5 years. Carl Kruger, 7 years. Nicholas Spano, 1 year and a day. Hiram Monserrate, 2 years. Vincent Libo, 21 months. Aaron Gonzalez, 7 years. Anthony Seminario, 6 years. And Brian McCollin, 6 years. This is not even a comprehensive list, Noah. This is just a list compiled by the AP today to add in some context to how ridiculous it is for anyone to be getting caught at this point when there is a record of politicians in New York to not only get caught, to get charged, to get sentenced, and to be serving the rest of their lives in jail over corruption.
Send out some nudie pics all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
Cheat the public out of some money,
Yep.
you're a politician. I
Yep.
mean, we really, we have to stand up. We have to be engaged, and we have to demand better. I mean, that's just plain and simple.